Hey everybody, what's up? I'm TJ, got Shelly behind the camera.
Hello.
And today we are trying great value beef jerky from Walmart. So I think Walmart sells just about everything at this point.
Yeah.
As their own brand. And it's kind of crazy. But they have 3 different beef jerkies. They have the original beef jerky, the teriyaki beef jerky, and the peppered beef jerky, which I feel like are the 3 most common flavors of beef jerky out there. Yeah?
Yes.
So, makes sense that they have it. They come in a big old value pack. It is 10 ounces, so not too bad. And it's a much better price than, say, Jack Link's. But the question is it as good as Jack Link's? So let's see, let's start with the original. So for those of you that are gluten-free because, you have celiac or whatever, this does not seem to have soy sauce in it. Which means that it shouldn't have any wheat. It's kind of unusual, but quite useful if you are gluten-free. Is there a tear notch? Nope, tear notch. Smells like your standard kind of beef jerky. Let's take a look at a piece here. Your usual kind of beef jerky. It's kind of thin. A little dried out, but yeah, it just smells like your standard jerky. Tastes like your standard jerky too. Was your piece pretty thin as well?
Mm-hmm. It's not bad. Not fantastic. Personally, I prefer it a little bit thicker though.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things with Jack Link's is it is a fairly thick jerky, so you get more chew to it and it stays moisture. So verdict on the original beef jerky. Could be a bit thicker. The thinness makes it a bit tougher, a bit drier, but the flavor, perfectly acceptable. Nothing wrong with it. If you're looking for a reasonably priced jerky, give it a try. Pretty good. Next up, we have the teriyaki beef jerky, which is probably the second most popular beef jerky flavor, I would assume. You usually see people buying either teriyaki or original. Now this one has a little tear notch as well. Did not cooperate quite as well as the first one.
Looks like that one's gluten-free as well.
Does it actually say it? Oh, they actually put right on the packaging gluten-free. I totally missed that. Let's check the first one. Original says gluten-free as well. I don't even need to look at the ingredients. They're telling me right on there. Now I have to say that is really unusual. Almost every jerky out there has soy sauce in it, so you have the wheat and the soy sauce. And how do you do teriyaki without soy sauce? Because teriyaki is sweet and soy sauce.
Carefully.
Let's see if you can find it. So it does say that it has soy sauce in it. However, it's just water, soybeans, rice, and salt. So apparently they're using a gluten-free soy sauce, which is pretty cool for people that, can't eat gluten. Let's take a look at the teriyaki. So as we can see, this one has a slightly red color to it, which is kind of what I would expect from a soy sauce or teriyaki jerky.
Looks like it's a little bit thicker too.
It is a bit thicker, which is interesting that one would be thicker than the other ones. I mean, why would that be? It has a vague teriyaki smell. It's not super strong, but let's give it a try. Definitely less dry and more tender. I'm going to attribute that to the thickness of this one compared to the last one. Flavor-wise, it's definitely got some teriyaki flavor. It's not a strong teriyaki flavor though.
I definitely like the consistency of this one better. But taste-wise, it could be just a touch more.
I'll definitely agree with that. The thickness definitely makes it a less tough, less dry jerky. However, I feel like the way that they're saving money on it is perhaps using less seasoning. I don't know if that's the case, but it is not a heavily seasoned jerky. It's a light teriyaki flavor. And it's not particularly sweet either, which is nice, because a lot of times with teriyaki it gets too sweet. So verdict on the teriyaki jerky. Could use a little bit more flavor to pump it up, but the texture and moistness of the jerky is way better than the original. Who knows? Maybe another bag of the original would be thicker cut like this. Hard to say. And last up, we have the peppered beef jerky. Peppered, it's one of my favorites, but I feel like it's, in the greater scheme of jerky purchases, probably number 3 out of these 3 flavors. This one is gluten-free as well, says right on the bag. That's really cool that they have gluten-free for all the jerkies. You can smell the pepper. I like it already. Ooh. Check that out. There are big old chunks of pepper on there. Like a nice coarse grind pepper. Oh, I'm gonna like this. So, yeah, definitely you can smell the pepper, which is always a good sign with peppered jerky.
And it's a thicker cut.
Yeah, every piece just is covered with pepper. And this seems kind of like an almost in-between cut between the teriyaki and the original. It definitely is less chewy and less dry, much better texture than the original, but the teriyaki had an even better texture still. That said, personally, I would still get the peppered because there's plenty of pepper flavor and I really like peppered jerky. So,
I think flavor, I'd vote for peppered, but for the texture, teriyaki.
so verdict on the peppered jerky. Both of our opinions, best flavor. It had the most flavor, and I think we're both a fan of peppered jerky. Yeah?
Yes.
We like, spices, spicier things, and there is a lot of pepper on it. If you think pepper is spicy, I have a family member and my best friend who both think pepper is spicy. If you think that, probably don't get this one because there's a ton of pepper on it. But if you like peppered jerky, this is a really solid peppered jerky. Plenty of pepper. I mean, I've had peppered jerkies with way less pepper. Good flavor, would recommend. So I guess this wraps it up. We got 3 jerkies. I think we're both going to rate peppered number 1.
Yes.
Peppered number 1. Teriyaki number 2. Best texture, second best flavor. Original number 3. It just loses out on both texture and flavor to both of the other jerkies. Unfortunately, no comparison, but who knows? It might be your thing. Definitely worth giving a try. Price is right, at Walmart. So, thanks for watching. See you next time. So time to pop back in after the rating. We each grabbed another piece of the original, and we both got a thicker cut piece. So we started looking through the bag, and apparently we somehow managed to grab the 2, maybe not the 2, but 2 thin cut pieces where a lot of the rest of them are thicker cut. It improves the texture, the flavor is about the same, and I'd still rate it number 3.